So let's see about API versus web services. Okay, so let's understand. Okay, let's understand what is the API. Okay, what is a web service? Okay, 1 second. Okay, so we have to understand what is meant by web service and the API. Okay, so when or if two different systems or two different components, two different systems means two different external systems want to exchange the data, right? We use either API or web service. Okay, we'll be using either API or web service. Example, Amazon is built on top of Java. SBI is built on top of C#. If you observe here very clearly, right? These are two different systems. These are two different systems, right? Different programming languages. Okay, but they exchange the data. How? It is through either with API or web service. Okay, so the difference, what is the difference between these two is API is a package. API is a package that works in local system. Okay, API is a package that works in local system without any network. Web service required network to carry the data between two systems. So here, when it comes to API, the example is our Allure reporting, okay, monocart report. These are APIs because we are not sending data to that particular system via network. We are installing the package. Okay, we are installing the package and we kept in our local. Okay, we are calling their classes and utilizing their methods. Okay, so but if you see example of Amazon and SBI, they are two different systems. They are speaking via a network. Okay, so the data that is carrying from system A to system B via a network. Okay, so that network protocol is nothing but your a web service. Okay, clear? Any questions? Anyone? Know about web service in detail? Sir, any questions?
No, no problem.
So can you see this? Can you see this application? Everyone? Are you able to see this?
Yes.
So what is this? There is a client and there is a server. Okay, client is nothing but the application where you are able to see and interact. Server is nothing but the business logic that is written and hosted on a server. Okay, so I already told you what do you mean by client technologies and what do you mean by server technologies. So all the business logics are available on the server and they made you to access the application via a URL. For example, your Amazon, let's take Amazon only. Right? So this is my application which is called my client. So what should happen if I click on sign in? What should happen if I click on purchase a product, proceed to buy, right? So those logics will be written on the server side. Those logics will be written on the server side. Okay, so now if you go back to this application here, whenever I do some operation, it is carrying one request to the server. If you see here in between, so whenever you do some operation here, the data will be carried to the server via a web service. So the data will get processed on the server and it will send back as a response to the client system. So if you request anything to the server, that is going to be called it as HTTP request. The protocol via network that is going to carry your information is HTTP protocol. What is that? HTTP protocol. So once the operation is completed here, the data will be sent back to the client via HTTP protocol only. That is going to be called as your response. So client and server model is going to play a major role. Okay. So now, first, whenever the application is going to be get developed, the developer will complete all his business logics on the server side. He won't go to the UI in the beginning. He'll complete the entire backend stuff first. He'll complete all the backend installations first. So once the backend installation is completed, then he make each and every component as a web service. He will expose each and every component as a web service. Guys, are you following me? Any questions?
No, no questions.
Okay. For example, login, he will expose as a service. Login, he will expose as a service. Payment, he will expose as a service. Video call as a service. Balance as a service. Everything he will be exposing as a service. Who will expose this? The developer will be expose this one. Okay, clear? So on your server side, there will be something called as MVC. So M stands for model. M stands for model. Model. V stands for view. T stands for controller. C stands for controller. Okay. Model means the data that how they want to present on the screen, there will be structure under this. View is nothing but your HTML page. What to send to the HTML page will come to the view. When the request comes from the client, the business should get triggered, right? That is called as your controller. For every controller will be having something called as route path. What is that? At the rate of route. Will be having a route path. So whenever anything, the operation that is going to be sent to the client, first that will be go into the controller. First that will be go into the controller. Okay. From there it will go to the model. From model it will come to the view. So it is a cyclic process completely. Okay. So now whenever a request that is going to be sent from the client, what is the first origin? The origin is on the side, server side is controller. Okay. So now let's understand how does this server is going to take the inputs. I already told you whatever the request that is going to become, that will come and hit the controller of the server. Okay. So how does actual developer will develop the things? First he'll develop the backend logics and then he develop the UI. So now what I want to do here is I want to do the integration between this client system and this server system. I want to integrate the two different systems, right? One is called as client system and the server system. So how do I integrate? I integrate them via using my web service. I'm going to integrate them via web service. So the testing that we do here is going to be called as web services testing or integration testing. Web service testing or integration testing. So first what we'll do here is let the developer complete everything, then parallelly I'll start doing my web services testing. Parallelly I will start testing each and every web service. So once the web services are tested properly and then when they integrated with this, then we'll do the integration testing. So we'll hit the request from the client via UI using Playwright. Then we'll check on the server whether the data is coming flowing correctly or not. So now Playwright is going to act like a framework which will cover end to end from UI to backend service. Right? So any questions on this?
Is it UI or web services will start first?
UI is very last. First we'll complete the web service.
So first we have to write all the web services, then we have to go to the UI.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now you should ask me a question that without UI, how does web service will work? I don't have a UI because you said that UI is going to be the last preference. When this UI is not available, how do I test these web services? How do I know how to trigger these web services which is available on the server system? Right? So now let's understand exactly what is required. I want to know how to go and reach this server. It means that I should know what is the address of that server. Say suppose if I want to go to Pratap House, Hyderabad is a very vast country, vast city. Hyderabad is a vast city. You know the location. From that location, how you want to reach Pratap House? You need an address. You need an address. Similarly, if you want to access any application, you need a server. So for that server, should know what is the address of that server. Right? So now address of the server, we call it as base URL. Address of the server is going to be called as your base URL. So base URL, let's target it as a Hyderabad. Right? So from Hyderabad, where do you want to go? I want to go to Pratap House, or I want to go to AMB Mall, or I want to go to some other location. So there is something called as location available, correct? In a city there will be a location available. If you go to Google, let's take the base URL as this one, https://www.google.com. So this is going to be called as my base URL. We call it as a base URL. So in this base URL, what you want to do, where you want to go? This is my server, Google server. You want to go to YouTube, or you want to go to Maps, or you want to go to Photos, or you want to go to Music, to what? So now this YouTube, this map, this photos, these are going to be called as resources. What you call? Resources. Resources of what? Of this Google, where you want to get navigated. Right? Now, URI is equal to base URL plus resource. URI is equal to base URL plus resource. So how does this look? Now base URL /, if you want to go to YouTube, just put it. So now this is going to be a base URL and this is going to be called it as your resource. So anything that comes after .com or .net or .in, whatever that comes after here, okay, after anything .com, .net, .in, if you find any /, then consider it is as a resource. Then consider it as a resource. Anything else? Clear? Everyone? Any questions?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Tell me what is the question?
No question. It's clear.
Right. Now after this, let's understand your HTTP methods. So there are different methods available. One is going to be called get, post, delete. Fifth one is patch. Get. When we want to get or search any data from the server, we use get method. When we want to search any data from the server, we use get method. Any questions? Any questions around get method? Okay, so now let's see this example. I want to go to Amazon and I want to search something called as iPhones. Okay, so now what I'll do here is I'll go to my inspect and I'll enable my network tab here. Okay, network tab is the one which is going to help you see how the network calls are going, how the web requests are going to the server. So I want to go and search an iPhone. Okay, now if I see here, if you see here,
Pratap, I think you missed to put there.
why put sir? Let me complete this.
Yeah.
You see here, the call is going as a get call. Okay, so now what will happen here, the get call has brought my data, it searched the information from the website from the server and it brought my all my data. Got it? Clear? Everyone?
Yes.
Okay, now
Yes.
what we did, if you want to search, we are able to go and use your HTTP method. Now if you observe here, what I did here is I went to my Amazon, inside that I went to my electronics and then I started searching phone is equal to iPhone. So what is this Pratap? So this is going to be my base URL. This is going to be my resource, and this is going to be called as my parameter. Wherever you see this question mark, right? Immediately that is going to be called it as parameters. So why parameters are required? So parameters are going to help you to filter the size of records that is coming from the server. So search employees, if I click search employees, I will get all the 1500 employees that is available on the database. No. Search the employees. Search the employees by ID. Search employee by name. Search the employee by department. By. Why we are going to use by? To reduce the number of records, to filter the records. So if you want to filter the records, we have to put a filter. Make sense? So that filter we are going to send via your parameters. Sir, clear? Wherever you see this question mark, that is going to be called as parameters. You can combine n number of parameters with an operator called as AND. Type is equal to 16 GB. Make sense? Sir, andaru clear? So if you want to merge one or two parameters, we'll use with AND operator. Right, clear?
Yes.
Sir, instead of update, put it as update. Okay. Next one. Post. When we want to create a new entry on the server or database, we use post method. What we'll use? We'll use your post method. Before this, parameters, right? Why the parameters are required? To filter the size of results based on some criteria. Okay, there are two types of parameters. There are two types. One is going to be called as query parameter, which is going to represent with your question mark. Next one is going to be called as path parameter, which is going to represent in the curly braces. Okay, I'll be showing you about these curly braces down the line. For now, just remember this query parameter. Wherever you see question mark, that is a query. Wherever you see a path parameter, that will represent in the question mark, this curly braces. Okay, now let's see about your post. Whenever we want to create any new entry on the database, right, we use your post request. Okay, post means we are sending data and it should be saved. We are sending some data and it should be get saved. We are sending some data and it should get saved. Say suppose fill the form and save. Right, we do this one, right? We used to fill the form and save. So how do we fill the form? We have to fill this form, right? Sir, everyone,
Yes.
right? We have to fill this form. So what is the data that you used to fill here? I have to fill my gender, I have to fill my first name, I have to fill my last name, email, company, password, everything I need to fill. Okay, so now how does the server accept this data? It accepts the data in a JSON format or XML format. What format? JSON or XML. So first name is ABC, comma, last name as something else. So like this, whatever the data that is available, we'll send in the JSON format and we'll do this called as body. We call this one as a body. So post call will always accept a body either in JSON format or in the XML format. Pratap, how do I know which format that it needs to be sent? Your developer needs to send you the sender information. Okay, he needs to tell that no, Pratap, you have to send the data in the JSON format or you want to send in the XML format. So whenever you are going to do a post operation, it is our duty to go and check with the developer that what type of data that this request is going to get accept. Okay, so now when the system is not ready, when the UI is not ready, what we will do, we will create the data in this JSON format. So your developer will give the sample request body. Your developer will give the sample request body to you and to the UI engineer. To you and to the UI engineer. So what you will do, you will be using the sample request and we'll be preparing our test scripts and then we'll be start validating it. Make sense? Clear? Everyone?
Yeah, it's clear, but we know the JSON format, but how does this XML looks like?
XML no one will use, sir. This is Jamana type.
Okay.
Okay, you no need to worry about that.
Sorry about that. Okay.
So now this post call, remember that all these web services call will get call only on these buttons. Whenever you are going to click, a server call will be happen. Okay, so that is about your post. Put request is nothing but you already have. Put request is nothing but you already have a record available, but you want to update it. I already have a record on the database. Okay, I want to update the data. Okay, so here also what we'll do here is it will accept your body. It will accept the body in JSON, but what we need a reference of the record. What we need the reference of the record. So keep that in your mind. So what I want to do here is I need to pass some ID, some reference needs to be sent to which record I want to go and update. I cannot update all the records. That is wrong. It won't allow also. It definitely read some ID and then send all the fields. That is going to be called as your put method. We are going to update the existing record with having the reference of something. Make sense? Clear? Everyone. Right? Next one, patch. So patch is also similar. We will update only few fields. In put method, we'll update all the fields. In patch method, will be update only few fields, again with reference to something here. Not all the fields, will update only few fields. This also should be given by your developer. If you return put method, we have to use put only. If you have written patch method, we will be using your patch only. Again, delete. So delete no body, only base URL plus resource plus parameter. Okay, got it? So these are the operations pretty much we do on your web application. Get, post, put, delete and patch. Make sense? Clear? Kiran sir, Nandi sir, Shruti?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so now
I'm clear with
what will be happen? how do you know if this request calling is successful or failure? For every status code here, for every HTTP method, it will be associated with something called as what? Response codes, or we call it as status code. For every response code, there will be a meaning available. There will be a meaning available. So now let me quickly walk through about this HTTP response code. So I never came across 100. You ignore this. These are pretty much important. So if anything that you see in the series of 200, we call it as successful responses. We call it as successful responses. For get call, for put call, for post call, right? For get, put, post, we'll be getting this 200 as a response. If we are getting 200 response, then that is successful. The connection is successful. We are able to read the data. Sometimes you'll be getting 201. So 201 means it will become only for put and post, not for get. So 201 created. Sometimes we may get 201 created. So created means a new entry has been created on the database. Okay. Next one. 202 accepted. Guys, this question they asked in recent interview for Sai. What is meant by 202 accepted? So 202 accepted means, hey, em bani? Okay, you made a call to your server. You asked your server, please process this data. But that processing time will take more than 10 minutes. That processing time may take more than 40 minutes or 50 minutes. Okay, so I cannot make the user to keep holding on my system. Then what I will tell is, bro, I accepted your request. Please come back and refresh the screen after 30 minutes. So now to acknowledge that user, will send 202 accept. I accept your request, but it takes some time to process. In such cases, we use your 202 accepted. Okay, so 204 no content. You search it with some data, the server accepted it, but server doesn't have any information, sir. So you went to Samsung, but you're trying iPhone. That is wrong, right? Kiran sir, correct?
Yes.
So in such cases, how does the UI engineer know that there is data available or not? So what he'll do, he'll check what is the status code. If it's 204, it means that he'll write a message saying that, bro, there is no results available for your match criteria. Please go and check your match criteria. Okay, 206 partial content. So these web developers are pretty much smart, sir. What they'll do, if they don't find any data available on the server, right, they'll give you the related information to that. The related information to that. So oops, there is no data available, but still you can go and search these phones available on our store. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the codes that play a major role how this information is going to be shown on your screen. That is about your successful. Anything that is coming with the 200 series, we call it a successful. Redirection, sir. You are redirecting from Amazon to SBA. You made a payment on SBA. From SBA, again I have to return back to Amazon, right? There is a redirection available, correct? Such things will be notated with your 300 series. Next, if you are getting any 400 series error, it means that you are doing mistake, not the system. For example, you want to send a JSON body, but you are sending a empty body. In such cases, you will be getting a bad request. You want to delete a record where there is no any ID available, then you will get a bad request. Okay, next one. 400 bad request is the common area. That it means that you are doing mistake deliberately. You have to cross check it again on your side, from your side. Okay. Next one, 401 unauthorized. 401 unauthorized. If you don't have access to the system itself, then you will get your unauthorized. So what is the difference between authorization and authentication? So authorization means you don't have entry to the office itself. You are not authorized to enter into the campus. Authentication means you have access to the company but not to all the buildings. You have respect to blocks alone, not to all the blocks. Okay, so that is going to be called as authentication. So 401 unauthorized means you are not at all having any authorization to enter into the system itself. Okay, 403 forbidden. So forbidden, I told that this is related to your authentication. 403 forbidden means you have access but you don't have proper access to that. It means that you have only read access but you are trying to edit that particular capability. It means that you are trying to do a post operation, put operation or delete operation. In such cases, you will be getting your 403. 404 not found. On your Google, you are trying to send something, call it as electronics. So why Google will have electronics? Wrong, right? The resource name itself is wrong. So in such cases, it will show you the error message as 404 page not found. Okay, so don't worry, I'm just going through this all the methods. We'll be replicating each and everything with example tomorrow. Next one, 405 method not found, method not allowed. On a post operation, if you try to do a get operation, then it will throw the message called as 405 method not allowed. 405 method not allowed. Next one, wait. 415. Very frequently getting error. 415 unsupported media. You are supposed to send a Word document, but you are sending a Excel document, but you are sending a video file, right? You are sending a JSON file. You want to send a JSON, but you are sending a text. If you are sending the information in a wrong format, then you will get a 415 unsupported media. Okay, so these are the things that comes up, right? When you are sending the wrong information to the server, all these 400 series will be coming to the picture. 500 series, it means that there is a error on your server. So this is very much important. If you see any 500 series errors that is coming up on your screen, go and notify your developers immediately. Go and notify your developers immediately on priority basis. Bro, this is not working. Please look into this immediately. So server actions are important. Okay, so now to confirm whether your calls are successful or a failure one, how do you confirm? Using your response codes or status codes. So starting from 200 series, starting from 300 series, starting from 400 series, starting from 500 series. So each series is going to have a unique representation. So all successful 200, all redirection 300, all client side errors, right? That is called as 400. All server side errors are going to be called as 500 series. Okay, so tomorrow we'll understand the real-time implementation of these web services, how to call a web service, how to do a validation of the web service, how to validate the status code, how to validate the response code. We'll see in detail. Okay, clear?
Yes.
Yeah, fine, sir. Okay, then we'll catch up tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.